Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's have a look at Bitcoin, Dixie and a bit of Bitcoin dominance. Okay, so we'll start off with the Dixie. So we've just opened today, the Dixie's going down, that's fine. We're looking for a consolidation on this one and we're basically waiting to see how strong the Dixie is after coming to this level. Now we were expecting the uptrend to continue and the breakout took place at 93.4, so this is all to be expected. Now in terms of this uptrend, it's still obviously an uptrend and this is just a consolidation from it. Dollar is strong, cash is king. We've got to respect what we see, and at the moment this is still an uptrend until proven otherwise. If it's very bullish, we'll get a support at 93.7, which is basically a 10 exponential. If it's still pretty bullish after that, we'll be respected between 93.4 and maybe even the center of the Bollinger Band 93.2. Basically, it's still a very bullish chart, and dollar strength can basically mean, well, you know what it means. It basically means weakness or lack of strength or downwards pressure for anything pegged to it. So we're talking crypto, obviously. So it might not necessarily mean that Bitcoin's going to come crashing back down if this continues to go up, but we're not going to be looking for a massive breakout on Bitcoin, as in like breakout to new all-time highs, until this uptrend, in my opinion, until this uptrend has finally petered out and finished. And for the moment, you know, we've got a nice signal back down here. We had one exit signal and it didn't work out. So as far as I'm concerned, the trend is still up for the Dixie until proven otherwise. I need to really see it break down properly. Now this has been a volatile move since the uptrend started. So we got a big move up, golden cross, back down to the 200, big massive move up, breakout, new higher high. We could easily come down to this level here, 93, and continue up to 95, maybe even 97. But again, it's a wait and see, wait and watch. But the dollar is strong, the uptrend is still in play. Anyway, let's move on to Bitcoin on the 4-hourly chart. And by the way, if you've not joined my Telegram, there is a Telegram description, a Telegram chat in the description below. Quite a lot of people on there now, and Patreon as well, if you want to take it one step further and join the live streams. Otherwise, let's just have a look at what's going on here. So as of the last 24 hours, basically, we got our golden cross for on the 4-hour. These usually do have some kind of positive reaction, but just like any golden cross, we would usually expect a bit of a dump into it. Let's have a look at the last golden crosses that we received. It's been very volatile, hasn't it, this chart? I mean, in all fairness, we've not really seen anything that's relevant as far as golden crosses are concerned, but we did get one over here, a very, very, very strong one here, and yeah, it was sort of, I suppose, tested, but not to the same extent. This one was avoided, so this is the first golden cross that we've had in a very long time, other than this one, which I guess is a bit contrived. This one is a bit more, well, it's not even that natural really. We had a very, very strong last few days. But I would expect a retest of it, which would mean that, you know, if you're very bullish, then we would be holding here. But it's more likely to come back down a little further. This is the bottom of the Bollinger Band and the 200s. We're talking 46,200. Or if we're thinking about the actual moving averages of significance, we are talking about 45,300. This is a possibility, a very strong possibility, that this is what's going to happen, and that would be what, just short of a 5% move from where we're at right now. If we look at the MACDs facing down, still in bullish territory, but facing down, some momentum's leaving. It would not surprise me at all. In fact, I would expect it at this stage. To, you know, looking at what I'm looking at, I would actually expect it. A little bit of bearish divergence on this the latter part of the move here. So again, how it does it is going to be very telling. If it dumps straight down into it, it's not going to be a good sign. It would be like a Bart Simpson pattern, as you may know, which would basically likely break down further and maybe come back down to the bottom of the range. Let's have a look at the daily to see where certain areas of significance are. Lots of moving averages merging into the $45,000 zone. So yeah, if we did get a dump down, a pullback or a dump back down, it would likely be held around these areas between 45 and 45,600, which kind of corresponds to what we just saw in the 4-hourly, and hopefully we would bounce from there. It's been a fair old move, you know, this last 5 or 6 days. A good reaction from the bottom area of the accumulation zone, but still from the bottom area of the accumulation to the top area of the accumulation, basically in the space of what, four days. That's a big move, right? So support, literal resistance. You can't make it up. I mean, it is what it is. In fact, let's have a look at that weekly. Let's move it to the weekly. We'll just see a whole week probably from bottom to top. Yeah, we have. You couldn't make this stuff up. It's perfect area of support and resistance. And again, we've had this accumulation area in since the breakdown began, and it's worked out very well so far. Let's look at the positives. We are towards the top of the accumulation. Even if we walk down to the bottom here, that is still the upper middle section. This is the middle area. This is the lower. We're at the top of the range for accumulation. But again, while in accumulation, expect volatility, expect choppiness, and very difficult to trade. Only really when we break out of here, and I'd probably say out of here, can we expect new all-time highs to really kick in. This is descending, and there's a lot of talk of the $52,000 zone being the turning point. I'd say that at this stage now it's a little lower than that as this breaks down further and further each time. So as this is a descending resistance trend line, every week that goes by, we just need to break above that, and then we should have continuation and thereafter. But for the moment, be prepared. Be prepared for this to come back down to the 20 weekly, which has got a nice positive uptick on it, which is good to see. That's coming in at 41,600. So you could argue that we've come all the way back down to the bottom side of the range. Maybe not this week, but the next few weeks, and still be very bullish on this on the long term. And again, it's the weeklies that really count. MACD is pretty flat, but it's not bearish. It's not bullish either. It's kind of it's neither here nor there. I think on the long term, though, so long as we're still in this accumulation zone and obviously in the upper range of it, we are pretty bullish, and this is looking to resolve sooner rather than later, and probably to the up. But it doesn't mean that it can't come without downside. And speaking of downside, we do have to entertain the idea of what this is going to do to altcoins. So let's have a look at the Bitcoin dominance chart and see how that one's faring up. So we'll zoom in nice and close. I'll move that back. We are still on the daily, looking like we're ready to turn up here. So it's a very slow process, but the momentum for the downside is leaving. We're getting a bit of a rounded bottom form now, and we're above and have been above the centre of the Bollinger Band on the daily for quite a little while now. Hedging back into Bitcoin at this level, for me, was my preference. A much larger Bitcoin portfolio as of about a week ago. And I'm happy to keep in that situation, whether it's up or for down. It's more of a protection rather than I expect Bitcoin to outperform everything. But at this level, I always get concerned when we come down to major supports on any chart. Supports are for buying, aren't they? Or in this case, for alternating from alts into Bitcoin. That's kind of what I've done now. If we think about the way that the Bitcoin dominance is on the weekly, we hit this area here before, we hit it again. If we go back in time, we can see that in the bear market, that's where things really did reverse from. And we looked at a lot of altcoins versus Bitcoin, and we see what happens in bear markets. We don't want to be part of that. We don't want to be 95, 99% down. If we did enter a bear market, which I'm not saying that we do or that we are going to, but it's something to always bear in mind that if we're not playing this Bitcoin dominance chart appropriately, or even entertaining what it could do in the form of damage to your portfolio if you're holding lots of alts, unnecessarily without rhyme or reason, it's like the warning signs are there, and sometimes it's better to not be massively greedy and just hold lots and lots of altcoins and hope for the best when the dominance chart is so low historically that this is where it bounces from. Anyway. There's still a long way to go for this to really turn up on the weekly. The turning point would be 44.5% dominant. Breaking above there would be a reclaiming of the 20 weekly, and also a major pivotal area since we dumped and then reclaimed it and broke down from it. So at the moment, I suppose alts have a fighting chance of continuing with significant rallies. And again, I always say the market is different now than it's always been. So this is just one chart, one variable that I'd like to digest in my overall decisions. It doesn't mean that I'm bearish on alts or anything like that. It's just protection, if anything, to move into a larger Bitcoin position than altcoins. Anyway, you've heard me say it all before, but again, this does look like it is wanting to turn up, and so whether that's in the face of a dump or a pump, I'm quite comfortable being a larger Bitcoin position than normal. Anyway, I'll leave it with you there, but thank you for watching, guys. If you want to join my Telegram, like I say, links in the description below, alongside many other links for many other things. And that's about it. Thanks for watching, guys. Take it easy.